Are there any life events or major happenings going on right now, or anything that's happened to you previously that kind of shape who you are today?
I would definitely say that I'm actually getting some closure from a big thing in my life that kind of shaped who I am at this moment. The past 3 years, I have been kind of finding myself being a little bit more free than usually, and it just was okay, this hits home a little bit. Okay, for 3 years ago, I've gotten to a situation where as though it taught me a lot about who I am as a person, what I can tolerate, like just about like the way my heart loves, the people that I kind of get along with and the circles that I'm in. But it's definitely shaped me as a person, my personality as of now. Currently, I think I like I said, I'm getting closure from it. Actually really good closure from it. It's definitely taught me a lot of things about who I am, but I guess we'll get into that in a second.
Okay. Are you comfortable talking about the situation?
Yes, I think I am. I think so. I think I'm okay with it now. I don't think that I would have been, before I came home. Like, I'm visiting here in Maryland, just like seeing my family and like my friends, and kind of just getting my mind off of everything that I left back home in Florida. Back home in Florida, I definitely wouldn't have been ready to talk about it, but I think we can discuss it. We can discuss.
Okay. So what's the situation?
So 3 years ago, I was still living here in Columbia, living with my aunts and my mom and things like that, and I happened to meet a man, a young man or whatever the case may be, that we talked over the phone. He was from Florida, and we talked over the phone, and for a year before we met in person, we developed a relationship, and I ended up moving to Florida, like permanently with him. I thought, it was like a relationship, just boyfriend and girlfriend things. Everything was, pretty general. I got there, he took me to dinner first couple weeks, and we did the whole sex thing and everything like that, and then he kind of just popped up on me and like took me to like a dance store and kind of was like, hey, like pick out some outfits and some shoes or whatever, and was kind of like, this is what you're gonna do. You came out here to like make money for me in like a stripper sense, like, so it was kind of like a pimp and hoe situation. At that point, I was already kind of invested in our relationship, just because I'd spent a year over the phone thinking that we were in a relationship and things like that. So once that happened, I kind of was just like, I wanted to do anything to be in Miami. I didn't want to come back to Maryland, and I already loved him, and I kind of just stayed there. So in a sense, I kind of trapped myself, because I was, at any time at that point when I first met him, I could have left on my own. But because I chose to do what he said, and I enjoyed it, like, for the time being, like, I mean, it was exciting, it was something different. I got in a relationship with him and another female, which was, one of his girls or whatever the case is, and I enjoyed myself. It became with a lot of drama, it's just all about money, and I was just more invested in him than just like the business side of it. And so because of that, it kind of messed with like my mindset while I was there. I became really depressed, like getting beaten up for not bringing home like enough money and things like that. It was a lifestyle, and a lot of things happened within that time, like a lot of fights, and we've had a lot of girls come and go, and I kind of pretty much stayed. And so one of the girls, that was his main, I guess you would say, his main bitch, she ended up getting pregnant, and I didn't know that it was their baby, because they she had told me in confidence that it was, you know, one of her customers by accident. It happened by accident and things like this. So there was a whole plan to kind of like send her away so she can have his kid, and I wouldn't know about it. And at that point, like, we were in a, like, it was like a polygamy relationship for me. I was more in love with her than I was with him. And it just, you know, like, going to visit her and being like, you know, talking about her doctor's appointments and things like that, and finding foods that, you know, healthy things for the baby that I thought I would be a part of. It ended up to be a whole bamboozle, you know, thing. And it was like, girl, I was like living in a movie. Like, I'm getting pictures sent in the mail, like, of them together in Philadelphia. Like, you know, like, so, like a random person is like sending me pictures, like literally like what is it, undercover, like when someone's cheating, like an investigator, and it literally came with no name on it. I like opened my mailbox, and there's like pictures of him, and there's pictures of her, and she's pregnant, and they're like in the city together, and I'm thinking he's out of town, you know, working. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like struggling to pay for our house. Like, it's like $4,000 a month, and I'm paying like for the cars, and I'm like paying for pretty much a family that they didn't want me to know about. So it kind of just, it sucked. It hit home like when I got those pictures, and I just kind of just decided to pick up and leave, and it was hard, but I did what I had to do, and I moved in with a friend of mine, and then I came home to visit, and now I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
But I think I'm moving past it, just because they say like the best way to get over like a relationship, well, this is what I've heard, is like, or if you've ever been hurt, is just to spend time with yourself, like by yourself. And I think once I got here, I had a lot of that. Like, I already felt alone there, because I kind of, like, my subconscious knew that this is what was happening, but I didn't really have the proof. So I'm not that kind of person that's like just gonna cut you off. Like, I might think these things in my head and keep it in the back of my mind, like it might be happening, but once I got like that real proof, it was kind of like set in stone for me. Like, it's time to go. Like, you know, I gave him pretty much everything I had for 3 years. Like, I left with a bank account of like $700. Like, and I've been there for 3 years. Like, I paid for a home that you now own. Like, I did that. I did pretty much everything for, I thought, which was us, but it was like them. So just like coming here and like seeing my mom, and I wasn't eating there. I was so stressed out, girl. When I flew in town a couple weeks ago, I was 98 pounds. Like, eating, sleeping for me was like non-existent. Like, I work 9 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week in a strip club. And it was tiring. It was sad. I couldn't enjoy myself anymore. Just like, even just being in that environment, it was a lot. Like, I had to portray a certain attitude and emotion while I was there, but I didn't feel like that at all. So, like, just coming here and like getting away from everything is giving me a lot more closure than I expected. So what they say is like, to really move on, you just need to be alone and be by yourself and like love yourself. And I think that's what I did when I came home. So, like, girl, I gained 15 pounds since I've been here. Yes. 15. And I know I still look a little bit small, but if you saw me when I first came, I looked ill. Like, I looked very stressed. So, I don't know. I'm feeling more optimistic about what's to come, and yeah, we'll see.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
and I love you so much.
I love you too.
What's the hardest conversation you've had to have?
Probably the recent one, when I kind of was like, how could you do this to me with the baby and everything like that? Because that was probably like one of my most heartbreaking situations. Like, again, like I said, like, my life was like, if I could literally write an entire book about this thing, and it was just, for me to even still be standing here and being like super positive about, I mean, like I named their kid, but I didn't know it was their kid.
Oh my God.
So it's kind of like, I think me just finding out everything and like standing in the home that I built, that I paid for, that I thought we were family, and that like even just it was almost so bad that I literally was afraid when I saw the pictures. I felt like it was like goosebumps on, like I looked behind me like as if there was someone behind me. That's how scared I was to look around the house that I was in and like think of everything we did and what we had, and it was just, I really didn't know who I was with for 3 years. So just having that end conversation in Miami to close everything out, I think that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. That was really hard for me. I don't think I've ever been so upset. I don't think I've ever been, I mean, I literally like took a bunch of pills. Like it was bad. Like I really did feel crazy. I felt crazy.
Yeah.
I hope no one would ever feel that way, because it was like the most scariest thing that I've ever done. And once I felt like that, I literally was like, oh my God, I have to go, because that's not how my mindset is. And I'm like, the fact that these people are gonna make me feel this way is just, it's a very scary thing for me. And I felt like I wasn't myself, and I knew I wasn't, because it wasn't me to even stay in that situation that long, but I had so many feelings invested in them. It wasn't just him, it was them. Like I said, I was more in love with her than anything. So